I need a vise on a mobile workbench. There are long Roman planing benches, and I'm going to take them as the basis for my design. The main difference would be that my bench would be smaller and without legs, so that I could move it around with more ease. Actually no, it's because I'm too lazy to attach the legs. I have a long board that I'll use as the workbench, and the vise will be built on one end of the board. I'll use the wood that I already have, regardless of its qualities. Spoiler alert, this will prove to be a bad decision. The jaws of the vise would be similar in the structure. They consist of 3 layers, in other words, boards of wood. 2 would be on the outside and 1 would be on the inside. For both jaws, one of the outside layers is a clamping surface, while the middle layer contains the nut through which the lead screw would move, or a coupler nut. I tried to make a coupler nut out of this, but this is honestly just some crap. So it can just go somewhere there. Instead of that, I used one of washers like this one. I cut it in one place and then I just forced it onto this leading thread. Making the turning handle would be one of the most challenging parts of the build, since it requires making a wooden coupler that will be able to transmit torque without breaking. The easy way is to just flatten 2 sides of the leading screw and use a wrench instead. I found that if I extend the pointy tips of the screws by a little bit on the other side of the board, I would be able to mark the exact location for the hole for the screw by tapping on its head. This way I do not have to measure everything and hope that I did not make a mistake. The vise is almost finished. Almost, because this leading screw needs support in around this area. Right now the vise is in the upside down position, which means that once it's flipped, this leading screw would have no support in this area. It would only have support here, which means that it would act as a lever and would force this part to come off or potentially damage it. To prevent that, I need support for the leading screw somewhere here that would prevent it from, destroying the vise. Notice that I did not fix this support from directly to the workbench. Instead, I fixed it from the sides, here and here. The reason for that is that if I were to fix it directly to the bench, there could be a chance that when I would be planing the other side of the bench, my plane would run into the tips of the screws and it would damage the plane or the blade of the plane, and I do not want to happen. There would be 2 leading rails on both sides of the lead screw to prevent the mobile jaw from turning. I could not find a square thread lead screw, and therefore I'm using a large trapezoidal shaped screw. The workbench and the mobile jaw would have dog holes. The dogs would be shaped like a wedge, and this would ensure that first, they would not fall through the dog holes, and second, that they would fit very tightly when hammered into the dog holes. The process of making the dogs that fit the dog holes is a process of trial and error, where I test fit the dog and trim it until it fits nicely. The vise clamps, sort of. The imprecision of work and the softness of the wood make the vise wobble and flex under strain, and I will probably rebuild this in the future, but with the same structural ideas.